I mean, us as strength coaches, man, we fail too.
Yeah. Oh
Like we
yeah.
fail. Like
Yeah.
everybody fails. Like I think it's how you deal with that failure and how you move on. Like a football coach I worked for at Delta State, he always told me, he was like, um, take it personal, but don't be sensitive. And it's like
Mm.
I kind of like at the time I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm not gonna be sensitive about it. I'm gonna take it personal because the way I am is like if you tell me something I can't do, like, oh well, I'm gonna go and do it.
What's going on, Samson Strength Coach Collective listeners? On today's episode, we have head strength and conditioning coach for Siena, Kevin Rodriguez. Kevin, thank you so much for coming on, man.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. Excited.
Dude, I'm stoked to have you on, seriously, because I've been aware of Kevin Rodriguez, right? Like we're, in the basketball world, everybody kind of knows each other just a little bit,
Yeah.
even if it's just by general association. And then obviously you're moving closer to my hometown, Syracuse, by going up to Siena. So I'm really excited to get to speak with you. And what's funny, we met at CSCCA. We talked about this briefly. My wife is from Chattanooga. You're previously at UTC. So we've got a lot of like just barely missing each other kind of occasions.
Yeah, good connections too. Yeah, good connections.
For sure.
Yeah, but yeah, we met at the conference, and I had always seen the show, and that's why we were talking to you, and we kind of like separated, and got your number, just hit you up because excited to be on the show, and I think what you guys are doing it's really cool, and whatever knowledge I can give out to people and help out anyway, that's kind of what we do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, right? And I appreciate you saying that, seriously. And I can say that on behalf of Samson too. I don't really ever talk on behalf of Samson because I'm just the podcast host, right? But
No doubt.
I know Samson certainly appreciates that too, because like you said, that's what it's all about. It's about sharing information. It's about passing down the things that we've learned, because everything that we've learned came from somebody else. And so it's our turn to pass it on down to somebody else too.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and there's a lot of people I can thank for that, you know what I'm saying? And I think people are starting to understand that if you're patient in what you're doing and in your job and your craft, like good things are going to come, you know what I'm saying? And there's going to be a lot of sacrifice, a lot of tough times that you're going to have to go through, but it all works out at the end, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's something we all have to go through at some time.
That's the best information that's shared, right? Is the one that sometimes it's like you think it's programming or sports science or whatever it might be, but really at the end of the day, it's like, okay, hey, I've been there, just be patient, or just like kind of the comforting words, the things that help keep you going along in your career too when it gets challenging.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's one of those things too where you start to, especially when you start getting older in this field, you start to really question yourself and like, is this really what I want to do? And is this really the path I want to take? And then you have that one lift group that just goes perfectly. And then you sit back and you're like, okay, this is why I do it. And then you win championships, you win games, and you sit back, you're like, all right, this is why I do it. And then you find the love again for it. You know what I'm saying? So I think anyone that's been in this business for so long understands that. Like there's going to be waves of good, bad, but you always kind of go back to like ground zero to find out like why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's very humbling at times, and there's been a lot of humbling moments for me, especially doing this transition from leaving a great place in Chattanooga that me and my fiance love, and the people that we met, the friends that we have, people that are going to be in our weddings from Chattanooga, and then leaving that, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole sacrifice and toughness part comes into it too. So it's easy when you have someone by your side to help you through that stuff. But when you're by yourself, it can get kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? So.
No doubt, 100%. Okay, so that'll actually lead perfectly. My first question will be just give us a brief background, right? And then obviously you mentioned the transition from Chattanooga to Siena, so I'll follow up with some more questions after that. But can you just give us your background of your career, where you've been, and then what you're currently doing now?
Yeah, so I graduated from Texas A&M Kingsville, which is a small school in South Texas. I got my bachelor's there in exercise science. After that, I went to go intern at the Louisiana Lafayette, and that's where I met a good friend of mine named Don Walker, who is at Mississippi State right now. And he got me and helped me get a GA ship at Angelo State University, which is another small D2 in West Texas. or Central West Texas, people say. And in between my time there, I had 2 internships. The first summer was at Mississippi State with football. I interned under Coach Savage and Coach Agenberger, and then went back for my GA-ship. Then the next summer, I interned at Ole Miss with men's basketball with a mentor of mine, Riley Allen. And then after that, went back to Angelo. And then it was a weird time because I graduated in December and didn't have anything lined up. And then Delta State, which is another small D2 in Mississippi, had an opening. And I was 22, 23 at the time, and it was for the head strength coach job. So I interviewed, and I got very lucky. I got the job, and I was one of the first ever strength and conditioning coaches there. So I built that program and kind of to what it is now. They've had, I think, 2 or 3 more people after me that have led the department. But first kind of the first one there was by myself for 2 months. Then I ended up hiring a GA and Tyler Moore. He's at New Mexico State right now. And then after that, I was able to hire 3 more GAs. And then they're still kind of in the field doing their thing. And I was there for 3 years. I had a number of, I want to say 6 to 8 GAs at the time. But I was still the head. And again, we were all around the same age. So it was very like trying to separate myself from them. But also too, like they're some of my great friends now. And then after that, I was there for 3 years at Delta State. And then I ended up going to Chattanooga for 4 years. And I worked men's basketball primarily there, and then worked with women's golf, beach volleyball, and cross country as well. And then now I'm here in Siena. Literally just got here 3 weeks ago, right into it. And now I work primarily with men's basketball. And it's been fun, man. It's been a weird transition, but a very good one as well. It's still trying to like figure everything out and meeting this person, meeting that person, being kind of like a politician, walking around, saying hi to everybody, shaking hands, and just making sure that your presence is known, but also too trying to be welcoming to the weight room, and encouraging people to get back into the weight room and train, whatever sports here. I mean, men's basketball is here, obviously, women's basketball is here, but also too like the lacrosses, the soccers, like the baseball guys who are here, like, hey, the weight room's open, you guys can come train, and developing that culture and that standard now is what we're trying to improve here and take it as we get started with this new journey and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's so funny because when we met at CSCCA, you were at UTC, and then I said, hey, we got to get you on the podcast. And so we go to set it up, and I text you, and then it's like, hey, I'd love to come on the show. Like, I just got a new job that I might need a couple weeks. I was like, yeah, 100%, like, congratulations. I'm stoked for you, but please take the time. And so, like you say, you've been here for about 3 weeks now. Like, it's funny. It was just funny to me that, the transition is always such an interesting process that you go through. The question that I thought of before we went through your introduction that was related to, like you said, like, part of coaching is sacrifices. Part of coaching is, like you said, you develop these amazing relationships, you meet all these amazing people, and then you have to leave because you have to take the next most logical step for you, your career, wherever you may be, what might be the best thing for you. How do you handle that? How do you handle knowing, like you said, you've got people who you met who will be in your wedding one day, and you've got a fiance, and there's a lot of different factors that go into it. Like, how do you handle that? What was your mentality as you transitioned from UTC to Siena?
A lot of it too, man, was a lot of prayer, and a lot of just humbling myself with God and praying and just helping me make the right decisions, and guiding me with my decisions. I mean, it's not our plan, you know what I'm saying? It's not. It's His plan, and He's going to put us in situations that He thinks is going to be best for us. So that's one thing, just a lot of prayer and a lot of just self-reflection, but also too, like leaning on the people that have helped me get to this point. So obviously my parents, my mentors, my fiance, my brothers, you know what I'm saying? And talking to them, and seeing like, hey, is this the right move for me? This and that. And also too, working with some really good head coaches in the past, like Coach Dan Earl at Chattanooga, like going and asking him like, what his thoughts were. And he was honest with me. And that's the relationship him and I had. is like he was going to give me the truth and he wasn't going to hold back. And, and that's what you need to hear sometimes. So, but he was very supportive too with the whole move. But just dealing with, obviously the whole logistical stuff, like moving, I think that comes and that's something you got to deal with. But the actual, like, when you transition into a new area, a new weight room, you have to assess a lot of stuff. So like, first things first, like when I first got the job, I talked to my director of operations. I was like, hey, I need all the guys' numbers. Like, give me their phone numbers. And I text every single one of them, introduce myself, tell them I'm excited to see them. We'll talk more when I get there, X, Y, and Z. And then it was, okay, let's get to the area. Don't really worry about where you're staying. Just kind of get the keys and let's go. So the first thing I did when I got in here was see what I had available, see the space, and then we start rearranging things and kind of making it your own home, and then kind of start unpacking stuff. And then at second, the third thing was meeting the trainers and then meeting the administrators and then getting to know your coaching staff that you're gonna be working with the whole year. And luckily, like, the coaching staff here at Siena, the men's basketball staff, they're awesome. They welcomed me with open arms, and they understood the transition and the time frame that I had to take to get here. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I got offered the job, and I was here in 4 days. It's
Yeah.
like I told our coach, Coach Nevada Smith, I was like, yo, I'll be there soon. He's like, no, take your time. I'm like, nah, I'm already missing a whole week of training. Like, I gotta get there. So the transition from an actual, like, logistical standpoint, I feel that comes, but the whole, like, assessing of everything you have is what's my number one priority. But I think the number one thing too is getting in touch with the guys and the staff. Uh, so like, you start building those relationships and those standards and those cultures with those guys and expectations, and then the training comes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I first got here, we had a whole team lift all day, every day, and it was mainly just how I want things organized, how I want guys moving, the expectations, the energy, the effort. And then honestly too, it helped me see how these guys work and what they need to work on, what they need to develop. Hey, this guy needs X, Y, and Z, this needs this. And then it's like, okay, we can start breaking into more groups and start working on more individual stuff. And we'll still have team lifts and stuff as well. So it was mainly just kind of getting to know the guys and see how they work and really, like, establishing that culture and that standard with them. Like, hey, this is how we're going to do things. I know at first it can be kind of weird, but continue to keep trusting me and let's keep building this relationship. And we'll keep going on from there. So, and again too, like, I was 1 week I'm training my Siena group, but the week before I was training my guys at Chattanooga. So it's like the intangibles are the same. The standard doesn't change. The program doesn't change. It's just where you're at now. That's the only thing that changed. So I mean, I was telling a good friend of mine, like, I'm not worried about the program. I'm not worried about that. It's getting out there was what I'm worried about, but also too, it's like seeing what I have available and also like getting a staff as well and trying to meet them and try to get them situated and try to figure out what teams they're going to work with and not just meeting my head coach, meeting all the other head coaches as well, and putting a name to the face and be like, hey, my door's always open. You guys want to come talk, and everything like that. So it's a whirlwind at times, but you just take a step back and take a deep breath, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Yeah, I think the big transition period is the quote I always go back to is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Like, it's just,
yeah.
You got to just figure out one thing that you got to focus on and then boom, get it done. And then go to the next one. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, like, you've really caught up, right? And so there's so many different things that you have to deal with. I really like what you mentioned about getting in contact with the players before you get on campus. I think that's something that with basketball, you have kind of a unique advantage, right? Where, you kind of work with one or two teams most of the time. You're pretty specialized. I remember when I went from Texas Tech to App State, our head coach here was like, hey, here's all the numbers. He sent them to me automatically. And he was like, I want you to FaceTime the guys, like, set up a time to FaceTime everybody. And so I FaceTimed them all, and I feel like it just really helped. When you kind of first get your foot in the door on campus, like they've already met you, the ice has already been broken just a little
Yeah.
bit. I got to ask them some kind of questions about like what are the things that you want to work on, and obviously I have my programs, I have my standards. Like you said, there's some things that just won't change based off of what location I'm in. There's always going to be things that I coach, but it helped me too to just understand like, okay, 7 out of the 10 guys who will be here for the summer said they all want to work on some agility training. So boom, we'll hit that quickly, right? So we can just get
Yeah.
a little bit more buy-in. Like it just gives you a little bit of a leg up. So I love how you approach that. And so correct me if I'm wrong. Are you also like essentially in the director role at Siena too?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
have two other assistants that aren't here right now. They get here in a couple weeks. So right now, we're just kind of just figuring everything out. But yeah, so I'll be able to run this whole department, and yeah. So I mean, anything
Yeah.
that happens with them goes through me and things like that. So like I said, not my first go around, and we kind of talked about this off
Yeah.
air, but it's like, it doesn't get easier. You're able to assess better and kind of, learn how to deal with different situations. And obviously, you're going to have some of the same situations wherever you go. Um, and you're going to work with uh, the same kind of people, I guess you can say, especially in athletics and college athletics. So, I mean, being able to being able to like learn how to assess better and learn how to work well with each other and work well with others is probably the number one thing that's helped me get back to this point. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's always so interesting too when you only not only transition for basketball, right? Because basketball's there's a lot of layers to that in general, but then you add in the whole layers of okay, I also manage a staff. Like you said, I've got to meet all these sport coaches. I got to make sure that people are taken care of. Like it's just even
yeah,
more that you have to do. And so I think it's really good that it's your second go around, right? Starting
yeah,
a brand new job because then it helps a little bit more just with kind of okay, I can do this. I've had a little bit of experience. My feet are a little wet. Like I can handle this, right?
yeah.
So I think it's always exciting and fun to see. How's the summer gone for you guys? Like obviously, like you said, you missed 1 week of training in the beginning. All the basketball strength coaches, who listen to this know that summer training is your pure unadulterated time to get after it. Like that's where you make a lot of your gains, and it's a really important roadmap for the rest of your training for the summer. Just like in the season, just like with any other sport. How has your summer gone so far?
It's been good, dude. Honestly, uh, I still think we're in the honeymoon phase where everyone's still like excited to have like a new strength coach, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everything's good. I know there's going to be some tough times as we move on. And that's normal. That happens with every team. But good from like I said, from a training standpoint, everything's been so simple. It's very simple. Let's just get after it. Let's work. Let's have some fun. Let's get the music up. Let's run around a little bit. Let's change ourselves. Let's get better. Let's help each other out. But again, from a training standpoint, like we'll do a squat, we'll do a bench, we'll do a deadlift, we'll do pull-ups, push-ups, very simple stuff. And let's just get strong. Let's get strong, and then let's change our bodies for the best. And then based on how I started programming a couple years ago, it's like, yeah, start tailoring more towards guards, bigs, your wings, all that stuff. But right now it's just general, very general prep stuff. And just, they get a lot of their conditioning and a lot of their stuff done at practice, which is great. My head coach was like, hey, you don't need a conditioner. I got it. So sweet. He's like, but they condition by playing, and they play, you know what I'm saying? So it's great. So, but again, too, I did mention to him like, hey, like, I'm not going to condition him on the court, but like, I'm still going to get him on the bikes in the weight room. Like, there's no, like, that doesn't stop, and he's good with it. So, I mean, that's, it's one of those things too, where that doesn't change, and we'll just do a lot of general prep stuff. And also too, like, being able to sit down one-on-one with each guy and seeing, like we talked about, like what you want to do, how you want your body to change. Hey, where do you want to be at? Where do you like to play at when in season? What do you usually drop down to in body weight? Stuff like that. And being able to talk to those guys, and honestly too, learning their goals and what they want to do with their careers, right? So like a lot of them want to go play in the NBA. Okay, like let's get you prepared for that. If you're fortunate enough to go play in the NBA, great. But if you go play overseas, that's great too. You get a summer invite, you get a G League contract, whatever it is. Like, I'm here to help you get to that point. Uh, and I've been fortunate enough to work with guys that have gone to summer leagues, are playing overseas currently, and just being able to develop relationship with those guys. And that's the one thing that I think any athlete that's been under me, like, they know that I'm available for them any day of the week. Especially when I got out here, I called some of my old players. I was like, hey, I'm going to Siena. You guys always have a place to train. Like, there's no, like, if you're good with me, like, you're always going to be welcome into my home. Like, there's no like animosity towards anything. It's like, hey, you need a place to train. Let's get it going. You know what I'm saying? So, but from an actual training standpoint, like I said, for the summer, it's been good. We have a couple more weeks of training, and then we'll be off for a while before school starts, and then we'll get right back into it. And honestly, too, my goal for them right now is just getting them as in shape and as strong as possible right now. And then as we start getting back into the swing and things in the fall and stuff like that, we'll start specializing more on some stuff, and very things that you're probably doing right now and everyone else is doing right now too. So
Yeah, okay. So I'm curious about this, right? Because I've spent some time thinking about this past week. I think as you get more experience, like, you try to be less reactionary as a coach. I think you try to be more understanding, right? Like, especially when you get a brand new team in, you get a lot of new guys in, and then it's really hard. I think it's hard to not make initial judgments, right? And
yeah,
just as you progress through the weeks, what does it look like? Who is this guy truly going to be on the team? What role is he going to fill? Is he for real? Is he not? Right? Like, I think it can be tough to not make those judgments. And I've tried to be more stoic, maybe, or more, I don't even know what the term would appropriately be, right? Like, where I just try to just, okay, play it level, and then let their actions prove or disprove, or, speak for themselves, essentially. And so you say, and this could be more of a broader question too, right? Like, you say, like, with any job, there's problems, right? Things will come up. There's always a honeymoon phase of like, hey, Kevin's here. Kevin's awesome. He's doing a great job. Do you try to predict those problems ever, or do you just try to, essentially handle them as they come? And I loop in my earlier talk about that just because, what I've noticed is sometimes I've created problems by trying to predict them, and sometimes I've also solved them way before they become bigger problems. So it can be a little bit of a razor's edge you have to walk. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. What your approach to handling future things that could come up really is.
yeah. I think I do a little bit of both. Um, I, I fell at this because, like, I try not to think about problems,
Mm.
but I also think about them so I am more mentally prepared when they happen. Um, and I think that's more of my intrusive thoughts going through. So it's like I know something's gonna happen, and it's like, okay, I kind of put myself through scenarios like, okay, if this were to happen,
Mm-hmm.
what would I do? Hey, this problem's gonna occur with this person. Like, how am I gonna handle it? Like, am I gonna lash out, or am I gonna take the professional role and be like, just take a step back, let's figure it out, let's calm down, whatever like that. So, um, but also too, I think you have to be really good at dealing with problems as they come, and even if seen or unseen, like, I think you have to just learn how to figure it out and just move on. But I think from me myself, like, I mentally prepare myself for that, and it's just so when that problem occurs, I know what to do. I'm consistent and I'm prepared. And I think my biggest thing that I've learned in my career is being trying to be as prepared as possible when it comes to things, and also too, like, your past experiences will help you with your future experiences and things like that. But no, I think being able to, like, put yourself in those scenarios and kind of, like, have an idea and have not like a whole plan, but have an idea how you would approach it. I think it's what's helped me. It's the same thing with coaching too. Like, when I was a GA, I had a really bad problem of, like, explaining workouts to people, like,
Mm.
especially in front of a team. Like, when I had volleyball back at Angelo State, like, I couldn't read a whole whiteboard. I would get caught in mouth, and I would freak out, and my anxiety would just keep going off the walls. And when I met Ackenberger and Coach Savage at Mississippi State, like, they taught me, like, yo, like, if you're in the car and you're driving from the facility to your apartment, like, practice what you would say to a team. practice like your talks, practice with the lift, practice how to teach a squat. Because when you get into those situations, when you're in front of a team full of 40 guys or 10 girls, whatever it is like that's just clockwork. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's in your brain, it's embedded in your mind to where it's like it's just second nature. So that's I still do that to this day. Like, I practiced for this podcast yesterday, so it's like some things I would say on here, and kind of so you're like a little more clear headed. But I still do that to this day. Like I'll drive from here back to my Airbnb I'm staying at, and I'll literally just like, hey, how would I coach a room full of 100 kids? You know what I'm saying? And that's a good trait that my like I said, Coach Savage and Ackberger taught me back in the day, and it's helped me get to this point. And my fiance says I'm a good talker, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's a good skill to have. But yeah, from a situational standpoint, man, just being prepared as possible. I mean, you're never going to have the perfect answer. You're never going to have the perfect program. It's just learning how to adapt to things as they come. And don't freak out. That's one thing my director at Chattanooga, Jerry Passetti, taught me. Like whenever something went wrong or whatever, like we were in a bind about something, he'd be like, we'll be fine. We're all right. He's like, we'll figure it out. He's like, and he's just very calm about it. So he really taught me how to kind of like handle situations, but also be like, yo, like this is the business, this is the way it is. Like it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
I really, really like that solution, right? Because like, again, sometimes if you think too much about it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Where
you're thinking about it more in your mind, and
yes,
it's going to happen.
Yeah. It's like I brought up this analogy before, right? But like, how many red cars did you see on the way to work today? Like, one or two, and then you say, okay, now when you drive home, think about how many red cars, or somebody brings it up, right? And then you notice way more, right? Like, so if you think a problem can occur, then you're going to look for the problems, right?
Yeah.
And so I really, really love your approach of, putting yourself in those situations. I think a lot of coaches do that, but having the intentional practice of doing it, right? Like having a set time of, okay, if this specific situation occurs, how do I react to it? Right. Or like you said, prepping for going through the workouts or prepping to come on the podcast. Like, there's always a planning element, but I think what I really like about it is the intentionality is like this is a set time, or this is something that I will do regularly, instead of kind of just like your shower thoughts, right? Where you're like, okay, hey, maybe I've got a little time, let's think about it. But it's like intentional. I know I've got this time to do this. Let's go through these situations. And, I would certainly agree. It really makes you feel a lot more prepared.
Yeah, no. And I think, like I say, it can be good and bad. If you keep thinking about something, and it can really mess with your head to the point where like you feel sick and you don't know what to do. So, like, let's just say, for example, like if someone were to come into the weight room right now and start yelling and just making all this noise, and I'm on this podcast, it's like, okay, what would I get out there and start cussing at them, or be like, yo, can you like calm down, please? Like, can you like, which approach would you rather take? You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of your own judgment. But for me, it's like, I'd be like, yo, can you just like, can you calm down, please? Like, and I've been able to like really control like things I say and be like, saying like, cause at the end of the day with our athletes, man, they're still kids. We were that age at one point. And I'm saying it like I'm old, I'm only 32, but like, we were 22, 23, 21 at one point in our lives. So it's like, they're adults, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to talk to you like an adult. If you want me to treat you like a child, I will, but the majority of people don't want to be treated like children. So I'm going to go and talk to you like an adult. And if you can't figure it out, then it's like, I'm going to try to help you figure it out. And I'm not trying to be a dictator or trying to be mean. I'm just trying to truly just help you, because at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing if we're just sitting here arguing about something? Like, I have better things to do than argue about what you're wearing or anything like that. It's like, wear what I ask you to wear, follow the rules and the standards of the weight room, and then move on. It's literally that simple. And I think that's something that I think a lot of coaches still deal with nowadays. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's one of those things too. It's like, it's either it's what you have set in standards for the weight room, but also to like still understand that they're kids. And it's the same thing with like men's basketball and the transfer portal. Like, kids are going to transfer. It is what it is. Like, I mean, it's part of the sport now. That's part of it's the world we live in. We can either sit here and continue to cry about it and like get mad about it, or we can just move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have time to be like, I'm sad if a kid leaves that I really like and like working with them and he did good for our team. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, man, I get it. Like you're a human, you're an adult, you make your own decisions and you learn from those decisions. It's that simple. So I'm not gonna sit here and just continue to be like mopey about it. Yeah, it sucks, but hey man, the life goes on. We just gotta keep moving. You know what I'm saying?
That's my favorite thing in these conversations with kind of the coaches who can get mopey about it. I've been there before myself, right? Like, there's kids who've transferred who I really loved. And it was just hard to see them leave. Right. But like coaches who were just like, what happened to loyalty? And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
let's be real, bro. Like, you're 19, you averaged, 17 and 7 and 6 in the Sun Belt. And you've got agents and everybody telling you, hey, if you transfer, you're going to get X amount of dollars. You wouldn't take that opportunity too. And they're like,
yeah.
no, I wouldn't. And I was like, yeah, all right, bro. Like, whatever
Yeah.
you say. Like,
I
what
mean,
are we talking about?
I get it. I mean, and I see, and I think we're very fortunate enough to see both sides from a head coaching standpoint and from an athlete standpoint, because we work with both very
Mm-hmm.
closely. You know what I'm saying? And like literally yesterday in the gym, our head coach is like literally pointing at me and pointing at our trainer and be like, you guys will see them more than you see us. And it's true. We spend every day with these guys and girls. So it's like, we see their side and how they are, but we also see how the head coach is and his staff is. So like we understand like we're like the middleman. Like we kind of talk on both sides of the spectrum where it's like I'm not gonna tell my guys something they want to hear. Like I'm gonna tell them things that they probably don't want to hear, but it's truth. And it's kind of the same thing with our head coaches. Just like they're gonna want to hear some things that they want to hear, but it's like we're gonna tell them the truth and we're gonna tell them like, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we not need to do. And sometimes it can go really good. Sometimes it goes really bad. At the end of the day, it's not personal. It's nothing personal. It's just business. And I think that's another thing that Coach Bassetti at Chattanooga taught me. Like, him and I love him. Like I love him and his family, and what I'm saying. But like we've had some uh, discussions and stuff, and it's never been personal. It's just been to help each other out. So it's all this stuff is not personal. It's like we were trying to we're trying to win games, but also two is we're trying to make ourselves happy as well. And not just hate ourselves for doing what we do. We love what we do.
Yeah. Just from this conversation, it seems pretty apparent to me that you're good at removing your emotions from situations, right? And being a little bit more
Yeah.
realistic. Like, how do you,
Sometimes, yeah.
sometimes, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
We all
sometimes.
slip up. We all slip up.
Yeah.
Like, but how do you coach your players through that? Right. Cause we've got especially in basketball, you got a lot of young guys like who will really struggle with that.
Mhm.
And for some of them, like basketball is their only outlet. Some come from areas or backgrounds where there's really not a lot of talk about emotions. It's just, just handle it. Like, how do you coach your guys to be able to adopt that mentality of separating emotions and rationality?
Yeah, I think I'm still trying to learn that. I think no one has the perfect formula for that. I think it goes based off the team you work with. I
Mm.
think every individual that comes in his weight room, it's different. Everyone has different ticks. Everybody has different, um, external, what do you call it? Like factors that they have to deal with. So, and internal factors they have to deal with. So, I think I've always been the kind of coach that is I'm gonna like try to help you out to the best of my ability. I'm gonna try to find out what you want to hear, but also too what you don't want to hear, and also too just being truthful. And I was very fortunate enough to like work with some really good dudes in Mississippi at Delta State, from all walks of life. So being able to be around those guys and learning how to talk to those people too is like I think it's what helped me get to here too. You know what I'm saying? And but also coaching guys like through their emotions and just be like, yo, if you need a second, go take a second. Like, but don't let it affect what you're trying to do in the weight room, and don't let it affect you're trying to do on the court. Like, I understand you're mad. You might have something going on at home. You might have a girlfriend problem, boyfriend problem, whatever it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. We all been through that. Like, but again, you can't let that dictate your day. And especially for strength coaches, like, the whole persona behind a strength coach is like, you got to be loud, you got to have energetic. And it's true. But we all have bad days as well. Like, we all have problems that are going on. And whether it's family issues or, relationship issues, whatever it is, like, we all have stuff going on internally. So it's like, but we can't let that affect how we treat our kids and treat our teams. You know what I'm saying? It's because we are the role models, and we are like the tone setters of the weight room. So it's like, and again, but we all understand. But I think learning how to really manage those emotions, it's tough, man. It's not easy. But I think if once you start getting into it and start understanding yourself and understanding the people around you, I think you start to learn how to develop better strategies and stuff like that. But I I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and people know when I'm upset, but I try not to let it affect the way I work. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like if I know I need to get something done, like I'm gonna get it done. Like there's just you have no option. There's no excuse. Kind of like the same thing with our athletes. It's like eating food is non-negotiable. If you're a basketball player, getting shots up is non-negotiable. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the weight room, like you're gonna train, like that's non-negotiable. And when you go to bed, that's non-negotiable. You got to go to bed. Like you have to get your recovery, and you got to go see the trainer, like whatever it is. It's like it's a lot of non-negotiable. So for me, it's like if I know I have to get up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., like it is what it is. Like that's the life that I chose. If I wanted to live a little bit more easier life, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'd be working an office job or doing something else that I wouldn't want to be doing. But it's pretty nice when you can just wear like a cut off hoodie or like a shirt and shorts to work every day, and what I'm saying, and train kids and live in the weight room, what I'm saying, and don't have to go pay for a gym membership all the time. So those are the perks to being a strength coach, I think, at times. But also too, I see it as a being able to see these kids develop and win games and win championships. Like that's like the main driver for me at times. And then being able to see them go play professionally, or start a life with their significant others and have kids and all that. And I still have guys from Delta State that I coached in baseball and football, that are hitting me up that have kids or just had their first kid or just got married. I mean, that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? That's great. I'm glad you're living your life that you want to live. And I'm glad I had a part in that,
Mm.
because I mean, and I'm sure you've got this. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this or listen to this, we've all gotten those texts from athletes being like, "Hey, thank you for everything you did for me. Like it really truly helped me." And it's like, dude, like any day of the week, what I'm saying, twice on Sunday, like I'll do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's just the good thing about working around some good coaches that have taught me to, that's what the main thing is.
Yeah, yeah. The growth part is just so cool, right? Like, and I think back to the player we had him for 3 years, and he's probably my favorite athlete I've ever coached. I think, like if we're just being realistic, and he was an emotions guy. Like, he when he was high, he was so high, like, and he would just be the energy driver for the team, and like you said, almost similar to strength and conditioning, where when you are expected to be the energy guy and you're low, it's really noticeable
Yeah.
versus if you're middle of the road or kind of more of a low key guy. And so he would let his emotions control him a lot. And I'll never forget, the last year that I was coaching him, we talked a lot about his emotions. We talked a lot about his mentality and just watching him grow. And we were at a opponent, obviously away game, and the fans were talking some smack to us, and we won the game. And at the end, they said some more stuff to him, and they were talking to him all game, and he ignored them all game. And he turned around, and he's like probably arm length away from me, and he started to say something, and I said, "Hey, relax," and then literally turned on a dime, completely turned away and started walking away. And I was like, hell yes. Like, because like literally freshman year, it would have been, I would have had to hold him back, and he would have been saying something over my shoulder the
Yeah.
entire time. And so just like you said, it's kind of a microcosm of what the bigger picture is, which is just watching these athletes grow, watching them become fathers and mothers and have their own families and do all these things to help them be successful. It's like just like the coolest piece by far.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, us as strength coaches, man, we fail too.
yeah. Oh
Like we
yeah.
fail. Like
Yeah.
everybody fails. Like I think it's how you deal with that failure and how you move on. Like a football coach I worked for at Delta State, he always told me, he was like, um, take it personal, but don't be sensitive. And it's like
Mm.
I kind of like at the time I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm not gonna be sensitive about it. I'm gonna take it personal, because the way I am is like if you tell me something I can't do, like, oh well, I'm gonna go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And like that was his like mindset towards me. It's like I don't think he can do it. And he knew it would piss me off, so I would go try and do it. You know what I'm saying? And then anybody that that knows me really well is like, you challenge me to something, and it's like, well, I probably won't win, but I'm gonna like try my hardest. Like, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna compete as well. So that's just the thing too, where we fail as strength coaches. Like, we're not always gonna be the best every day, and we all know that. But it's like, how do we learn from our mistakes, and how do we learn from those failures and move on to better ourselves for the next day and the next day and the next day. And I think that those experiences and those failures will help our teams moving on forward in the season and stuff like that. Especially if people are fortunate enough to play collegiate sports. Like, I wasn't fortunate enough to play collegiate sports, but because I just wasn't as athletic, and I wasn't the best baseball athlete. But again, like, I feel like as I started getting older, I started becoming more athletic, which was like, okay, I missed the boat. But with learning, being in a collegiate weight room early on in my career, like, really helped me see how a team and athletes really work and things like that. And then again, once you surround yourself with really good mentors and friends, like, that's how you start developing strategies, and developing, like, hey, what can I do for this, what can I do for that, what I'm saying, which is going to help your teams in the future as well.
Oh, 100%. I completely get what you're saying, right? And even we had a conditioning session this morning, right? And I told the guys, like, I have self-doubts, right? And it was just a larger talk about, like, everybody has those things. And so how do you handle it when it occurs? Because it's going to happen. Just like you said earlier in the podcast, like, problems will happen at some point. Nobody has the perfect job. Even if you're, I don't know, an ice cream taste tester, and you make $1 million a year, someday you're going to get sick of ice cream, right? Like, it just happens. And so how do you handle those things? I'm curious about this one, because I have obviously a background knowledge of Siena, Syracuse basketball, growing up in the area. And I had a conversation with a young strength coach the other day where he just started a new job. He said, this is the first job I've gone into with expectations. Like, every other job I've gone into, it's just been, okay, I've got hard work, right? I know I'll be a consistent guy. I know I'll be a good strength coach. And he's a young coach. This is like his second full-time job that he's got. And then he said, this is the first job I've come into where there's already been, a path kind of been laid, and there's expectations about what it should look like. And, for the context for our listeners, obviously Siena won the conference last year, and Jerry McNamara went to Syracuse. Jerry McNamara is a big upstate New York, Syracuse kind of name, and there's expectations with what you're looking to do this next year. Like, how do you, as a more experienced strength coach, handle those expectations? We talked a little bit pre-show about, like, basketball is the thing. Like, in upstate New York, people love basketball. Like, how do you handle those expectations? How do you kind of not let them override your decision making? What's your process with that?
Yeah. So, and it's funny you say it, because it was the same thing at Chattanooga when my first year there. The year before got there.
That's right. Yep.
Lamont Paris and them won the conference on a half-court shot in Asheville. And then they went to go play, I forgot who they played in the first round in Pittsburgh. But so Coach Earl got the job the following year. Then I was fortunate enough to go and work for him and that staff. And it was the same thing. Like, it was like, hey, you guys won the conference last year, went to March Madness. It's like, what are you going to do? It's like, well, we're going to try to do it again. Like, it's like, that's the standard, right? And it's tough. And there's a lot of weight on your shoulder, more on Coach Earl than me, what I'm saying, obviously, but also too, it's like, hey man, you just go in there and you just try to do the best you can and win, and you're not going to please everybody, obviously, like, there's going to be a lot of self-doubt, and there's going to be a lot of doubters and stuff like that. But it's just like, I mean, in that first year I was there, we made it all the way to the championship in the conference tournament in Asheville, and we played Furman, and Furman won. And then I forget who they played in the first round as well, but I think they won a game. And
I think it was Virginia, right?
Yeah, Virginia. Yeah. And they had some really good guys on that team. So it's like, and we had Jake Stevens as well, who was big old 7-footer, you know what I'm saying? And he was injured half of the conference season, and he was able to come back for the conference tournament and tore it up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we got hot at the right time. We just fell short in the championship. And then, so then we just continue to keep building more and more every year there. So coming into this situation, they won the tournament last year, and we had some guys that were on that team, and it's nothing different. You know what I'm saying? It's the expectations are going to be there. People are going to want to see results, and we're going to try to do the best we can to get them the results. And But also too, it's like, I think the number one thing is like, okay, well, let's win games and let's try to prepare ourselves as much as possible and peak at the right time in January and February and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the way college basketball is nowadays too, it's like and it's anyone's year. You know, like you never know what's going to happen, and you know, you might be down by 30 at halftime and win by 10. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love college basketball. It's one of the best sports in the country where it's like, you know, it's on any given day, it can be anyone's day, it can be anyone's game. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing when we were at Chattanooga, like the year we won the NIT, we were down against Bradley, and then we at halftime we came back and beat Bradley, and then we ended up going to the Final Four in Indianapolis. And then, I mean, to be honest, man, we weren't. No one thought we were going to win that tournament, and we did. We were truly, that team was so special. From we started off the season with a lot of adversity. We had a couple guys go out. We had a lot of injuries. We lost our first 3 games, I think, and it was just like, all right, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be one of those years. And then we started getting guys back, and we got hot. I forgot what our winning streak was, but we had a long winning streak going into that conference tournament. And then we had one of our main guys get hurt the week of the tournament, and we kind of had to figure it out. And we fell short in the conference tournament, but then we ended up getting a bid to the NIT. And then at that point, it was just playing with house money. Like, no one thought we were going to win, and it was fun, man. That was something, like, honestly, it's like that right there was one of the best successes I've had as a coach. And I really don't like using my own success, but like I liked the success of my athletes. Like that's what I love. And like that whole tournament run was just like, we got to like, that right there was like, we became a true like family, to where like those guys and our athletic trainer, our SID, our coaches, we all still talk to each other. And we just develop a bond that no one can ever take away from us. So, you know, that, and then, like I said, no one thought we were going to win. And it was like, all right, let's just go out and have fun. And the guys they just hooped, and we just ended up getting very lucky at times. And we ended up winning. And it was honestly one of the best experiences of my life as a coach. And being able, and also too, another thing that I really like enjoyed about that tournament was my dad and my brother, my older brother, were there at the game at Hinkle Fieldhouse. And it was awesome because it's like they hadn't been to a Chattanooga game before that. So it was like them seeing like us win those 2 games against Loyola Chicago and then UC Irvine, and then my fiance being there too. It was just like, it was awesome being on the court with them, things like that. You know, those are the moments you're just like, man, like you made it, you know what I'm saying? But that team was truly special. And again, there's always going to be expectations, I think, anywhere you go, but especially being here in Siena and knowing the history and knowing the tradition of basketball here, it's awesome, man. And it's one of those things where like I'm very loyal as well. Like I don't like to let people down. I'm a big people pleaser. Like I want to make sure everyone's happy. I want to make sure everyone's good. So that's something I always hold over my head. It's like, hey, like, am I doing enough for him? Am I doing enough for him? Am I doing enough for him? And Coach Smith, our coach here, he does the same thing with our guys. It's like, you're playing for him, you're playing for him, you're playing for him, and then you're playing for us. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all trying to win games, but we're all here to play for each other. You know what I'm saying? And I think once you create those expectations and create those standards and have that culture with the team, I think that can take you a long way in the season as well. So, like I said, it's fun, man. And basketball is a different beast out here. You know what I'm saying? It's great. It can get kind of intimidating at times, but it's like I love it, man. I love having that kind of like fire under yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, you gotta do some noise. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. So
yeah, I think that's where expectations can be really cool. Is where, hey, people want you to be good. It's like, oh, hell yeah, like I'm gonna live up to it. Like this, it's my chance to do it. And I love what you say too. I think it's just a perfect embodiment of what makes basketball so cool. Is like anybody can win, anybody can do anything at any point in time. That's why it's always March Madness, right? It's not March logical. It's just
March Madness.
Anything can happen at any point in time. I think back to even just this past season that we had with our men's team here. Like I remember we got like 40 pieced on our home court by Elon, and I went back to the locker room and I was like, do we suck? Like, oh my God, like what is going to happen? Like
Yeah.
it was one of those losses that like, you're just like, wow, like this could make or break us, right? Like we can figure
Yeah.
it out or not. And we did figure it out. Right. And then we had this great team that continued to go on and have success. Right. But like you said, starting off that season where you have some people out for injury, you know, there's just kind of like, there's things were set up for the team to kind of go down a path, and then they chose a different one. And then you guys act as a family. You don't really worry about the negative expectations, and you just go out there and have fun. And all of a sudden you win a championship. That's really cool.
Yeah, and then honestly, and I want to talk a little bit more about the NI team. Like honestly, those guys, you know, were awesome, man. From Honor Huff to Trey Bonham, Frank Champion, Jack Costal, Bash Wheeling, Garrison Kiesler, Sean Cusano, Colin Mulholland, like all the guys that were on that team that played a big role into that year. Like they can never be taken away from them. Like that's going to be, you know, engraved in Chattanooga history. And they like very fortunate enough that a good friend of mine that is a Chattanooga local, and he bleeds Chattanooga. Like he loves the Mocs. Like when I told him I was leaving, he told me that I put my name in Chattanooga history, and we all did. And that can never be taken away from us. And again, like leaving Chattanooga was tough. Like again, like we talked about this earlier, like me and my fiance loved it, and we still love it. Like that's a place I'm going to go back and visit like, always, because it's just an amazing place. But that right there, that NIT championship run and that regular season championship run, and even the stuff we did the year before and after, like, you know, like we are embedded into that program. And Coach Earl is doing a really good thing there, and he's really building a culture. And that man, I can call him right now. We can talk for an hour and just like catch up. And he's a great guy to be with and great guy to work for. And again too, but I knew coming here, I needed to make that jump and to work with the new staff and challenge myself, you know what I'm saying? And say like, hey, like, am I about what am I about? Like, can I really do it at another place? Like, can I really go and develop more people somewhere else? And again, I like to test myself, and it's like, you know, I get, like I said, I get kind of bored when I'm in one place for one time, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm so used to moving too. And being in Chattanooga for 4 years, it was awesome, obviously. But like, once I got this job, I was like, all right, I'll be there tomorrow. And then my fiance is like, yo, you can't do that. Like, and it's like, well, why? She's like, well, cause it's not right. Like you give yourself time. I'm like, okay. So it's like, I'll give myself 4 days.
Which, you know, to be fair, is 400% of what you're, you know, initially going to do. So,
no doubt. Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. I was just thinking about that the other day. Like, I've been in Boone for 4 years, and the only time past high school that I've been in a place for 4 years was Temple when I was in Philly. You know, then everywhere else you just move a bunch, is kind of a natural part of the progression. So, yeah.
It gets easier because it's like, I don't have a lot of stuff personally. Like, I have like a couple shirts and stuff, and I just literally packed my little Honda Civic, and I was like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah.
And and I have to fly back soon to get the rest of our stuff. But it's like, you know, especially when you're interning young, and hey, you got an opportunity to go to Starkville, Mississippi. Yeah, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, like here are the numbers of the other interns you're gonna be with. Try to find a place to live. Great, let's do it. And then like those guys, I'm still really good friends with, and my boy Nico, who's in Louisville right now, he does baseball. You know, like him and I were both interns there, and we're still friends, like really good friends to this day. So where like I'll go visit him and his fiance, and we'll hang out in Louisville and go watch baseball games. Like that's what. And then Ackenberger, I'll speak on him too. Like that's what he wanted, and that's what he wants. He's done a really good job developing good professional strength coaches that were his previous interns, and has helped them get to where they're at now. And I'm a product of that. And whenever he wants me to talk to his interns he currently has at LSU, wherever he's at, it's like, I'm gonna take the time to talk to them and tell them like, yo, if you listen to this guy and listen to Coach Savage and listen to what they have to say, they will help you get to where you need to be. And because if they call me and they're like, hey, this guy's ready to go, cool, I don't have to talk to him. Let's get him here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way it works. So that tree that he's developed is awesome. And I can't speak enough about him. Like, I love the guy. Like, I'll call him and we'll talk, and we'll just mess around and talk for an hour about nothing. And then just he'd be, all right, I got to go. I'm like, all right, later. You know what I'm saying? Just like,
Yeah.
but before, when I first met him, it wasn't like that. It was like, obviously, you know, he's a coach, whatever. But then you start to realize he's a regular dude. He's one of us. You know what I'm saying? It's great. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been a fun situation. Like I say, everything doesn't get easier, man. You just learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It doesn't get easier; you just learn how to approach it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the problems don't change; it's your response that changes, and then you get better at responding to it every single time.
Exactly.
Well, Kevin, man, I appreciate you, dude. It was really enjoyable. I knew this was going to be a good episode, but always that was a self-fulfilling prophecy I think I had for today, because I did know this was going to be a good episode. It turned out to be a great one. So
yeah,
I appreciate
it,
you, man. Yeah,
and again too, like I like to talk. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, but once I start getting going, I get going. But like one thing too that I like told myself last night, that the one thing I wanted to say today, like, because I don't know who's gonna watch this. I don't know if interns are watching this or other full-time members are watching this, whoever it is. Like I love what I do, and we love what we do. The best advice I could have gave myself way back in the day is just be patient. And there was times I wasn't patient. There was times where, like, man, I should have had that job. I should have had that job. I should have had that job. Like, why did that person get that job and I didn't get that job? You know, really like hating myself for that. But then also too, like, I had some really good friends, man, that just told me like, yo, calm down, be patient. Your time will come. And then they were right. My time did come. But then also too, I was telling myself this last night. It's like, when your time comes, you better be ready. Like, because if you're asking for it and you're wishing for it, and that time comes and you're not ready, then you're gonna like really kick yourself in the ass and be like, I shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying?
Or how bad did you really want it?
Yeah, how bad did you? And it's like Coach Earl would always say, it's like the man in the arena, right? When the lights go on, like, you start to see the real person, and it's true. And that's something he told me too. He's like, yeah, you're asking for all this, but it's like, be prepared for when you get there. You know, like, know what to do, know how to act, know the right steps to take, and then, you know, don't put yourself in a bind. And he was right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's one of those things too, where it's like, once this job came up, I was like, I had to take it. You know, it's like, and again too, like, I won't know if it's the right move until later on. You know, I mean, if it is, great. If it's not, then we move and we learn from it. We move on. You know what I'm saying? And but again, I would be upset at myself in the future if I didn't take this opportunity.
Yeah.
And because I wouldn't know if it was right or wrong one. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, man, it's been a fun time. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited for this group of guys we got. I'm excited to work with this new coaching staff. I'm excited to have a new staff to help with and to help them develop whatever they want to do in their lives. I'm excited to work with new administrators, new athletic trainers. Like, that's always a fun part, right? And again, what can I do to make Siena a better place, right? And then whenever my time comes and I have to leave or whatever like that, is like, how am I going to leave it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to leave it in a good spot, and I think I left Chattanooga in a great spot as well. And again, like, those coaches I worked with at Chattanooga were still really good friends, and they understood why I left, but I can call them any time of the day and they will talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's really developing those relationships with them, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and we had a really good time in Chattanooga, and I'm ready to create more good times here in Siena as well, and hopefully win some more games. And another goal of mine is I've never been in March Madness. You know what I'm saying? That's my goal. And I told my guys the first day I met them, it's like, our goal is like, we're going to March Madness. Like, that's the goal. Like, there's no exceptions. Like, it's like, we're going to go. And it's like, but it's hard to win. So it's like, how are we going to find a way to win every game? And how are we going to be able to deal with adversity as time comes? And how are we going to get to that point? You know what I'm saying? So one thing too, that Matt Aldred, when he was at Furman, I had met him at the championship. Well, we had talked prior to that, but we played Furman in the championship my first year. I remember pre-game, we're warming up, whatever like that, and him and I were talking half court, and he shook my hand, and we were just talking, catching up, and he's like, hey, man, like, enjoy this moment. Because not a lot of people are able to, especially in Asheville, North Carolina. Like, it's a great place to be at the Cherokee Center. Like, it's awesome. Some of the best environment I've ever been in. He's like, enjoy this moment, because not a lot of people are able to get to this point. And he was right. And we hadn't been back to the championship ever since in Chattanooga. So it's like, I enjoyed that moment. And I tell that to every young guy that's in basketball or anybody, just like, hey, enjoy the moment, man. Because, like, you may or may not ever be back. And it's one of those things where you sit there and you're just like, man, like you have, if you're especially a strength coach that's just on the bench, you have the best seat in the house. Like, you honestly do. You're watching some really good basketball games, and a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of good times as well. A lot of half court shots that shouldn't go in, they'll go in, but it's like, all right, great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's such a great message too, right? Like, just, soak it in, right? Because I remember when we won a championship, won a regular season championship, we had, similar to what you said with UTC, like, we had the best season ever in App State men's basketball history. And it was just like, enjoy it. Because some coaches go through their whole careers and they could be some of the best strength coaches in the world, and they don't get to experience this. So just take a moment, enjoy it, love it.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it was exciting when we won the NIT too. Like, my fiance kept telling me, like, enjoy it, and I couldn't, because it was like, oh, we got to get back to work, we got to get back. And she's like, for a second, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I did, and we did, and me and the staff and like our athletic trainer, SID, like we all. Oh, we enjoyed it.
We enjoyed
it. We enjoyed it, and we took care of it. And honestly, too, not only was it big for UTC, it was big for the city of Chattanooga. Like, the whole city of Chattanooga, like the whole scenic city. Like, it wasn't just for us; it was for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the love and support we got from that tournament was amazing. And like they treated the guys like rock stars. You know what I'm saying? And they deserved it, because they worked their asses off all year for it. And of being able to be a part of that, and be a part of that staff, and be a part of that program, it was awesome. And I know, and I hope we can do the same thing here, and not only win it for, Siena, but win it for the whole capital region as well. You know what I'm saying? And really put Siena back on the map as one of the best teams in the metro. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? And I believe in the staff we have here. I believe in the guys too, and we're ready to go, man. I'm excited. And it's gonna be a lot of ups and downs coming up here soon, but we'll like I said, we'll figure it out. We'll find a way to get through it.
That's what it's all about. And that's what makes it worth it in the end. Yeah,
no doubt.
I love it, bro. Well, seriously, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been really great to get to know you further. And I'll tell you, you made a Siena basketball fan out of me. I've always been, an Orangeman fan, but I'll certainly be keeping up with you guys this year for sure.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time, and thank you to Samson, honestly. Really.
Of course, brother. Absolutely.